Marcus did the math properly. Spreadsheet, tabs, the works. Rent came out ahead. He printed it, looked at it for a while, and then went to a viewing on Saturday anyway. He's not stupid. He's not bad at arithmetic. He just met a kitchen with good light, and the spreadsheet stopped being the point. Every rent versus buy video ends the same way. It depends. Here are two numbers. You decide. And then everybody goes and does what they were always going to do. Penny here. Tonight, not which one wins. Why the answer never changes what people do and what a house is actually doing to your money while you're not looking. Start with the thing that sounds like a scam. Marcus's first mortgage payment is about $2,000. The amount of it that becomes his, $280. The rest is interest, roughly $6 in every 7, gone to the bank in the first year. He owns a door frame. And here's where most videos stop and let you feel robbed. But that number isn't a fact about mortgages. It's a fact about the rate. Same loan back when rates were near 3%. The interest share drops to under $6.10. Same house, same paperwork, completely different story. Anyone quoting you one number is quoting you 1 year. One more thing nobody says out loud. That you build almost nothing, math assumes the house doesn't go up. If it rises even a little, the picture changes fast. Hold that thought, it comes back. Then the costs that arrive whether you invited them or not, tax, insurance, the roof. You've heard budget 1% a year for maintenance. When someone actually measured it, typical routine upkeep came in nearer 0.6%. Lower than the rule. But the rule is wrong in a more interesting way. It's charged on the whole price, and land doesn't wear out, only the building does. So the honest version isn't owning secretly costs a fortune. It's that a house bills you in ways a landlord's problem never does. Which brings up the only question everybody actually asks. How long until buying wins? You've heard 5 years. In the US data this year, the national break-even is about 6 years. Fine, except the national number is a lie you can live inside. Columbus, about 4 years. San Diego, 23. And in San Francisco, San Jose, and New Orleans, renting stays ahead for the whole 30. Same country, same month. So 5 years isn't a rule. It's an average of places you don't live. Now the number that ends every argument. In the US data, the typical homeowner's net worth is around $390,000. The typical renter's, $10,000. 38 times. Case closed, surely, except that number is doing something sneaky. But if you compare the averages instead of the typicals, the gap shrinks down to about 10 times. Plus, owners only earn about twice what renters earn. Also, the typical owner is 57. The typical renter is 42. A 15-year head start on saving anything. When researchers stripped out who buys, the older, the higher earning, the already stable, most of that mountain went with it. Owning still built wealth, just not a mountain, a hill you climb slowly. So does a house build wealth, or do wealthy people buy houses? For 20 years, that question was unanswerable. Then the Netherlands accidentally ran the experiment. In 2013, the rules changed. New mortgages had to actually shrink the debt. No more interest-only loans, where you pay every month and the amount you owe never moves. Overnight, a whole country was forced to save, whether it felt like it or not. And researchers got to watch. Every extra euro forced into the mortgage turned into very nearly a euro of extra net worth. Not eventually, measurably, and it stuck for at least 5 years. People didn't quietly cancel it out somewhere else. They didn't raid savings to compensate. The forced saving simply worked. Which is the strongest argument for buying a house you will ever hear, and it has nothing to do with property. It's not that houses are magic. It's that you cannot skip the payment. But watch where the money came from, because this is the part that makes it real. Roughly 2/3 of it came out of what they spent. The other third came out of working more. That's the ownership premium, not a windfall, a transfer out of your evenings and your Saturdays. A mortgage doesn't create money. It moves it from the you who is alive right now to the you who exists in 30 years. And it never once asks whether this month is a good month. There's a mirror image, and it's almost funny. When the mortgage finally ends and that payment is suddenly yours again, people spend a chunk of it and use a big slice to work less. So the discipline was never in them. It was in the paperwork. Take the paperwork away and the discipline leaves with it. Now the objection you've been shouting since scene one. My rent goes up every year. My payment doesn't. And you're right. That's the real prize. And almost nobody names it properly. A fixed mortgage isn't mainly an investment. It's a price you locked in years ago in old money while the world got more expensive around it. That's not the spreadsheet's kind of win. It's better. Just notice what it is you actually bought. Not an asset that grows, a bill that can't chase you. Does any of it make people happier? Honestly, the evidence is thin, and the studies people quote are smaller than they sound. The one finding that holds up isn't the nice one. When you control for income, the joy fades. What stays significant is the reported pain from the house itself. The leaks, the boiler, the Saturday. Ownership is a hobby that bills you. And zoom out, because this isn't an American story. Germany is the only large European country where most people rent, and the typical German household holds less wealth than the typical Italian or Spanish one. Careful though. Germans also have pensions that make private savings less necessary. Both things are true, but it does dent the fantasy that the renting country got rich by renting. Marcus bought the flat with the good light. The spreadsheet was right, and it was also asking the wrong question. He wasn't buying an investment. He was buying a payment he can't skip and a rent that can't rise. So don't ask which is smarter. Ask what you'd actually do with the difference. And be honest. If the answer is spend it, the bank has already priced that in. Next time, another script nobody told you that you were running.